What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 744 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. It's your boy KB coming at you from Underground Studios, and joining me as he does every Thursday to send you into the weekend the right way, the man, the myth, the legend, via South Jersey, HK Harrison Cremens.
Yes, sir. We are here. We are in our first week of work, so I'm a little tired, but that does not mean I won't give you the best content possible on a massive Wednesday filled with a lot of news.
We have a lot to dive into. We're going to get into the Phils as they are out in Denver taking on the 8-win Colorado Rockies, now trying to keep it that way, obviously. It's now 2-2 in the bottom of the second. We will keep you updated on the game for as long as we are recording while it is going on. A Phillies legend has called it a career. We will dive into that. We'll get into the platinum plunk, the run differentials, all the underground stats and info that you've been craving for a while. And then we will get into the big news of the day as the TUSH push lives on. We will get into all of the details, all of the quotes, the teams that were for it, against it, and what we might see from the Philadelphia Eagles coming out of their bye week and on Monday Night Football for the whole world to see Week 10 at Lambeau Field against the Green Bay Packers. Plus, the Philadelphia Union are in action as we're recording this in the U.S. Open Cup round of 16. That game will probably be wrapped up by the time we get to that segment. But guess what? The Union are first place in the Eastern Conference. So we'll talk about the Union as well. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We're on every social platform. So be sure to follow us wherever you consume your social media content. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311, KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the pod. One more time for good measure. Subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow, plus every other show on our network. And if you are an Apple Podcast user, be sure to check out the channels tab on Apple Podcasts, because Underground Sports Philadelphia now has a channel where you can consume every single show on our network. You can see top shows. If any new shows ever come to the network, you'll see them pop up there. Plus, it gives you our most popular shows to get you immersed into the underground universe. So definitely check out the channels tab on Apple Podcasts. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It is all on our YouTube channel. Plus, YouTube just started doing podcast charts of their own. So let's get Underground Sports Philadelphia popping off on the YouTube podcast charts as well. We're at 1,061 subscribers, which means we're 39 away from our next 100 subscriber milestone. So keep subscribing, leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the comment section, and click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. And this show is proudly presented by the City of Vineland and the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar. Features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast.
At the Vineland Municipal Utilities, we understand that when our business community thrives, we all win. As a not-for-profit utility, our reliability, lower cost of operations, and flexibility in meeting customer needs make doing business in Vineland beneficial to your bottom line. What's more, we are able to do so while maintaining our commitment to environmental stewardship. We look forward to helping you achieve your business goals now and for years to come. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
Which I was just talking with our PR rep from the city of Vineland. We should be working this summer a couple of times and hopefully more in the mix, kind of a potential quarterly appearance from the man, the myth, the legend, or should I say the mayor, the myth, the legend, Anthony Finucci, the mayor of Vineland, who is a massive supporter and follower of this program. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But Harrison, let's get into the fight in Phils. As Alec Boehm once said, just like everybody thought, the Philadelphia Phillies are the number one team, not only in the NL East, but in the entire National League, as this ball is hit deep to left field, way out of there. A home run for Trey Shiesty to give the Phils a 3-2 lead in the top of the third. Mike Trayla.
Let's go. It helps when the whole team is now firing on all cylinders. Marshy coming off the IL and getting back into form is exactly what he needed. He's been playing very well as of late. The pitching has looked pretty damn good from everybody. Mick Abel is a stud, and I cannot wait to see him again once he comes back up. Give him some time down in the minors. Let him keep that confidence building. But when he comes back up, he's going to be a full-blown
That ball's hit deep to center field, way back and into the bushes. A home run for Bryce Harper.
Hey, let's see if Schwarber can make it 3 in a row and take the outright lead in the NL, or in the entire MLB, I should say.
Let's go.
So, me and my dad were talking last night, too. The Rockies may not be a good team, but by God, they are fun as hell to watch. You never know what you're going to get out of them. But it feels good being a Phils fan right now. They're playing at the top of their game, and it really does help that the Mets are finally starting to do what the Mets do best, and that is collapse.
It's great. It's great.
I saw the double that Bryce Harper hit yesterday, where he shot it right down the gap between right and center. The fact that he hustled up the first base line and then was able to take it easy, rounding that turn and just jog into second, basically. You know who could never do that? It's a certain player for the Mets who played for the Yankees and the Nationals and the Padres too, right? Mr. Juan Soto. Seeing that downfall just fills my heart with joy.
It's great.
It's phenomenal stuff.
But the Phillies sit atop the National League. They're the first National League team to hit the 30-win mark this season. The only team with a better record in baseball than them, oddly enough, is the Detroit Tigers, who you want to talk about a fun team. If you want a fun team to watch that is not our Philadelphia Phillies, watch the Tigers. They are a lot of fun to watch. But that's the only team that has a better record than the Phillies right now. And like you said, they're clicking on all cylinders. They're not living and dying by the long ball like we've seen them do in years past, especially around this time of year. Like they're playing small ball as a team for the first time, I think, in this iteration of the Phillies. Like we've always looked at them as a team that's like baseball go boom, and like that's how they score. But when you have Trey Turner getting on base the way he is, when you have Kyle Schwarber having on base streaks the way that he is, Bryson Stott being back in form, Bryce drawing an astronomical amount of walks, which brings up Kyle Schwarber with runners in scoring position. Nick Castellanos has been the definition of consistency this entire season so far, and congratulations to Nick and Jess on the birth of their third
Oh,
Jess'
awesome.
second child with Nick, but obviously Nick's third child with Liam. Congratulations to them.
Yep.
I have no idea how Jess hid that baby so well, but she hid that baby like a magician.
I didn't realize they were due for another one.
Literally,
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of Jess like during the off season and like early this season. I would have never guessed that she was pregnant.
It's a good thing hiding that from the media too, because that's something you want to keep under wraps and keep that with close friends and family.
Yeah, it was
Big
crazy.
congratulations to the two of them. That's awesome.
And if you know us, we are the biggest Nick Castellanos and Castellanos family podcast on the market, circa 2021. But like Nick has been Mr. Consistency all season in this lineup. Alec Boehm, Harrison, maybe baseball season is just more than April. Who would have thunk? Just like everybody thought.
Huh. I thought that the baseball season took place over 1 month and they played like 5 games a day.
Right now, with how poorly Alec Boehm started the season, do you know what his slash line is right now?
I'm gonna guess like 255, 296, 314.
So his batting average is up to 264.
Damn.
His on-base percentage is up to 305.
Damn.
He's slugging 362, which obviously can be much better. We want much better there. But his OPS is up to 667.
Good stuff. He's really turned it around, and he's silencing the doubters. You want to talk about consistency? Ever since that first month, he's just been coming up to the plate and putting on 1-2 hit performances on a nightly basis.
Can I also interest you in one Brandon Marsh, who when he went on the injured list was hitting 095?
Yeah. And now he's hitting what, 214?
231. His on-base percentage is up to 315. He's slugging 321, and his OPS is up to 635.
I saw something that since coming off the IL, he's been batting like 4 something.
Yeah, he's hitting over 300 in his last 30 games, I think.
You see, sometimes it just takes a month, and I'm directing this to the guy who's sitting behind us at the Phillies game, the world's biggest Brandon Marsh hater. A bad month does not equate to a bad player. Like, yeah, everybody goes through slumps in baseball. That's just the rule of the game. But
and then, can I also make you chuckle?
Oh,
in
yeah.
terms of player stat. So the other night, Edmundo Sosa hit his first home run of the season, which
That
I
was
couldn't
only his
believe it was his first. Yeah. First home run of the season. He's hitting 386.
You know what they say? These bitches love Sosa.
That was also the Phillies' first time going back-to-back home runs for the first time since March 31st against the Colorado Rockies when it was Nick Castellanos and Max Kepler.
Incredible. And Kepler's been turning it around too pretty well.
He's been like a roller coaster, kind of like he's been down, but like the past couple of days he's starting to tick back up. He's back up to hitting 229, but he was down to like 206. And I was like, Maxie, I need you to figure it out, buddy. My agenda is on the line.
Let's hope instead of a nice little roller coaster hill we got going here, it's more of a plateau. He just keeps going up and up and up, and then just settles at like 275, which we know he can get to. We know he can get to. And Jordan Romano.
Who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk? He's been he's had like a 1.58 ERA over the last couple weeks.
He has been a revelation, and this is why the Phillies can never let Caleb Cotham out of the building, because they found an issue with his arm slot that they talked about, I want to say towards the end of April, where it wasn't allowing him to get full velocity when he was pitching. And you can tell his velocity is way up from where it was at the beginning of the year. He was hitting around like 90 to 92 on his fastball, maybe peaked at 94 a couple of times. He's hitting 98, 99, and it's accurate now. There was a couple of times he was hitting it 98, 99, but it was out of the zone. It was wild. He's consistently hitting 98, 99 now. And to me, that is one of the big developments. And I talked about it on Monday, obviously, with Jose Alvarado's suspension. Jordan
a
Romano
shame
rounding into
playoffs.
form is going to be a must-have for this bullpen.
I swear to God, though, if we go out and sign David Robertson, I'm going to lose my mind because we cannot do this again. We cannot go through the same song and dance again.
Now, can I counteract you? Can I play a little devil's advocate?
I'll take a little devil's advocate. I still haven't forgiven him for a couple years ago. It's just
I get that, but David Robertson, everyone's like, oh, why that would be such a bad signing. So David Robertson was with the Texas Rangers last year.
Yeah.
In 68 games played. Like, for a reliever, that's a good chunk, especially at David Robertson's ripe age of 40 years old.
Yep.
He had a 3.00 ERA.
Damn.
Like,
okay.
I know he had some moments with the Phils, and I mean, I don't think the Phillies get to the World Series without David Robertson.
No, I
but
agree.
I think you could have way worse come into the organization, which sounds crazy to say about a 40-year-old reliever, but you could have way worse come in. He's 40. He's a man. He's 40.
We're getting Jamie Moyer 2.0 out here.
I mean, at 39 years old, he pitched to a 3 ERA for the Texas Rangers, who were very bad last year too, mind you.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I'm not fully against it. 2019 David Robertson obviously was like
the worst thing ever.
What if, because he got injured, and 2022 David Robertson, like, he pitched in 22 games for the Phillies and had a 2.7 ERA. Sure, that was 3 years ago, but again, 2 years later, after that, goes to the Rangers and pitches to a 3 ERA. I think you can have way worse options, and I think we've seen way worse options from this Phillies bullpen previously. That I would not be against bringing David Robertson back to this organization if logistically it makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it would make sense. I'm not the biggest fan in the world of it, clearly, but if I didn't realize those stats. If he does come in and plays like he did last year, he could shut me the hell up. I'm not one of those Philadelphia fans who is like against eating my words. I will absolutely eat my own words. I've done it on several occasions. I was the biggest Jalen Hurts doubter when we drafted him. I was so behind Carson Wentz, and then Jalen Hurts shut me up in his first game. So, like, I will gladly eat my words if someone will prove me wrong.
Yeah, I'm not against bringing David Robertson in. Obviously, it would just have to make sense from a financial and logistics standpoint, because you also don't want to, like, cuff yourself for the trade deadline, which is where you will absolutely have to make a couple of splashes for this bullpen, which here's I'm not ruling out the potential possibility of bringing back Gregory Soto or Sir Anthony Dominguez at this point.
Oh, please bring back the boy Sir Anthony. I love that guy.
But I like the way this team is playing. Like, JT is like figuring something. He still needs to figure out, hitting against lefties. But this team is, they're playing good baseball, and it's like I've said, baseball is longer than just a month. Like, people who treat baseball like it's football are the biggest dipshits in the world, because you're going to look stupid.
In football terms, we're not even fully through game 1 of the NFL season.
Yeah, like, how many games have the Phillies played? They're 30 and...
Okay, maybe we're through, like, week 3.
30 and 18, so 48 games out of a 162-game season. That's
week 3, week 4.
We've played just under 30% of the season. So in terms of that in football, that would be week 5.
Okay, yeah, so I wasn't completely off.
We're not even at week 5 just yet.
Yeah.
Which is oddly funny looking back at this year, because everyone's freaking out the Phillies early on. Everyone was freaking about the Eagles early on. Week 5 was our bye.
At this point,
Sirianni shaves his head. Bryce shaves his head.
The Phillies are in so much better of position than the Birds were at this point, and look where the Birds got.
Yeah. Like I told everyone on this podcast, I said I'm not concerned.
No, I'm
I
not
was like,
concerned.
I have very little to any concerns about this team, and here we are. I feel like a goddamn genius. Those people look like absolute slapsticks, which is one of
Now,
my new favorite words to use.
if we play like we did in April, in September,
That's a problem.
That's a problem. But playing like we did in April, that ain't nothing.
Plus, we're
That
still
ain't nothing.
killing it at home. We're 17-8 at home. We're 13-10 on the road.
Insane.
And that was the biggest thing, was like in April, we were bad on the road. I think we finished like at one point we were like a very nice 6-9 on the road.
But funny number.
But like we're not the Braves. The Braves are 9-17 on the road.
Inject that into my veins.
The Mets are 12-15 on the road.
Yeah.
The Phillies are the only team in the National League East that have a above 500 record at home and away.
Beautiful. And the Mets are playing the Sox right now, aren't they?
That they are. I will double check that here.
Let me see.
They're winning 4-1 in the top of the ninth.
Okay, so the Phillies just got to handle business and we keep our lead.
Yes.
So
let's Phillies are winning 6-2 now. So
yeah, we just got to keep handling business, doing our damn thing, and playing the baseball that we know we can handle, and we're gonna be just fine.
Yeah, I'm not concerned whatsoever. And I mean, you look at and we brought this up a couple weeks ago leading into this. I said the Phillies have a prime opportunity to just like really go on a really good run here because of who was on their schedule. We talked about it starting with that Cardinals series. We were like, they're a hot team. Obviously, it didn't go our way. We lost that series. But the Phillies won 5 consecutive series after getting swept by the Mets. Then they lose the Cardinals series. They then go and sweep the Pirates. They've won the first 2 out of 4 here against the Rockies. Then they have the A's on the schedule after this is the tail end of this road trip before you come home and play the Braves. And then you have an opportunity to get your lick back on the Braves, who took 2 out of 3 from you earlier this year. Like, you have a chance to win a lot of games upcoming going into the month of June, where you also have the Brewers coming to town, which won't be an easy task, but that's a good test there. The Blue Jays come to you go to Toronto in the beginning of June. Then you go to Pittsburgh. Then the Cubs come to town. Another good test, because even though you took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs, still playing good baseball they are. Yep. And then the Blue Jays come to Philly. Then you go to Miami. Then the Mets come to town. Then you go to Houston, and then you go to the Braves. And then the first series that bleeds into July is a home series against the Padres. So, like, you have prime opportunities with the teams that are on the schedule, like the A's, a couple more here against the Rockies that won in progress, the Blue Jays, the Pirates again, the Braves, like, the Mets are faltering, the Marlins are on your schedule. Like, you have a prime opportunity to really build a very, very competent lead in the NL East with the opponents on your schedule upcoming, and just continue to play good baseball. And that's what this team is doing. And I laugh every time people want to say, oh, fire Rob Thompson, fire Rob. Like, do you not realize, like, baseball managers don't contribute all that much to a win-loss record as opposed to an NFL head coach, as opposed to an NHL head coach. Topper's one of the best managers in all of baseball. And I'm not just saying that because he's our manager.
He's a good game manager.
He's a guy that also keeps a locker room together. Not that this Phillies locker room is like bad, but like, imagine this team with like Pete Mackanin, and no slight to Pete Mackanin, or Ryan Sandberg. No slight to Ryan Sandberg, but
who's the Yankees manager?
Fucking Girardi.
No.
Aaron Boone.
Aaron Boone. Can you imagine how volatile that would be with Aaron Boone as our manager?
We basically had it with Joe Girardi a couple years ago. Look at where this team was, and then Topper takes over, and they go to the World Series.
Topper is the right manager for this baseball team, and I will stand by that. He's the perfect guy to lead this team into the future.
So I love sitting back and laughing at people who were just so reactionary early on, and I'm just loving the way that this team is playing baseball right now. Like, they're pitching the ever living piss out of the ball. Jesus Luzardo was phenomenal on Tuesday night once again. And call me far-fetched here, Harrison, and you tell me if you think this could be a little crazy. I don't know. We'll have to do some backtracking on this. I don't know if there's ever been a pitcher in Major League Baseball that has won Comeback Player of the Year and the Cy Young in the same season.
I think you're right.
And call me crazy. I think if he continues to pitch the way he's pitching, Jesus Luzardo's got a good shot to win one of, if not both.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. The dude's playing out of his goddamn mind right now. You know who also really impressed me yesterday, all things considered, was Lazar.
Oh yeah, he looked good in his return.
He definitely got himself into, like, he pitched a gem of an eighth. And then, we get into the ninth, and he's not looking.
He's not a 2-inning reliever.
No. But then, the ninth happens, and he gets himself into a jam, and he gets himself out of it. He fought and won that ninth inning.
Yeah,
and that's the kind of heart we live and die by in Philadelphia. We need stuff like that.
And I mean, I love the way they played game 1 of this series too. Like, they battled back, and I was mashing the keyboard angry. I was like, you are playing a team that has 8 wins on the season.
Yep.
What are we doing? Like, you have 7 hits against an 8-win team and you're losing. And then they battled back, and it was like 7th inning, they get a run back. 8th inning, they score 4. 9th inning, they score 3. They end up with 17 hits in the game. Like, it's just good fundamental baseball, and I like that they're not relying on just one singular inning to score runs like we've seen them do in the past. In the past, it was like, oh, they'll score in the first or second inning, and then they'll go and score in the 6th or 7th inning, but those middle gaps there, they'd go scoreless, and it would be quick innings, and then you get the pitcher into a groove, and it was like, how do you expect to win? How do you expect to win when you're not consistently putting pressure on the opposing pitcher? And I love this brand of baseball they're playing right now. And it is fascinating that they've been able to play so well, even though Topper has gone against the grain from what we've seen him do since he became the manager in 2022 on the interim basis, and then full-time, obviously, to start 2023. They've used so many different lineup combinations this year. Like, they go with Stott at the leadoff. They go with Trey at the leadoff. They've had, Bryce hit second. Bryce has hit third. You've had Bohm hit anywhere from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've had JT hit 6, 7, 8. You've had different lineup combos. And I think that's also a great sign for this team, knowing that they're not necessarily just like in a comfort zone of, hey, I'm coming to work every day, I'm hitting second. I'm coming to work every day, I'm hitting cleanup. Like, they don't get in this, like, just go through the motions type of thing, and they get to experiment with the lineup, and it's worked really, really well. And that, to me, is a telltale sign of the difference between a good and a great team, is that they're able to adjust, they're able to, like, be in different situations, and they're not just, confound to one particular spot in the lineup, one particular spot in the rotation. Like, that to me is a huge positive sign, and something that won't get talked about in a overarching sense because it just feels normal. But it won't get talked about enough that, like, these guys have adjusted. They've made adjustments by hitting in different slots in the lineup, and it feels so minuscule.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, for this team, I think in particular, it's a big deal.
I agree. And that feeling that, like, nothing will be consistent and things will change at the drop of a dime, that keeps them on their toes.
Yes.
And that just keeps them playing the best baseball they possibly can. And I'm loving it. I'm loving this team, and I feel good about how we're doing for the rest of the season.
And it just gives you different, like, opportunities
throughout
a lineup, like different guys hitting in different spots. To me, that is just like, it gets you prepared for what comes in September and October.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's huge. And I'm just this team makes me so happy when they're playing well.
Oh, totally. It's a great feeling, and when they're on top of their game, they truly are the best team in baseball.
Which statistically and accurately, they are right now.
Yes.
So I'm loving it. Also, Mundo Sosa got caught by the camera when he made an out, flipping the bird to Bohm.
Nice. Nice.
That's
Classic.
incredible. That's incredible. But yeah, right now Phils are up 6-2. Wild pitch there, so Trey will advance second. And like you said, the Mets, sure, it looks like they're on their way to winning 1 of 3 here against the Red Sox. The Red Sox already won the series, which is huge. But they're playing like absolute shite. And at the end of the day, the more comfortable of a lead you have in the NL East, the better it is. Just build that lead, build it now. And that way, when the inevitable move comes to make a change in the bullpen with Alvarado's suspension happening. And here's the thing, too. Like, I know it sucks that Alvarado's not going to pitch in the postseason. We talked about this a little bit on Monday's episode, but he's still going to come back and pitch this year.
Yeah.
And it'll probably take a little bit of time for him to get adjusted after not pitching for 2.5, 3 months.
Yep.
But getting Alvarado back, which I think Destiny Legardo tweeted that it's going to be the series against the Mariners in August, is when he's slated to return, I believe.
Ooh, nice.
Like, to me, like, that's almost a trade deadline acquisition for the remainder of the season if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Or is it's not the Mariners, it's the... It might be the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
The Rangers in August, I think it might be. But it's sometime in August, regardless. But, like, getting a guy like Alvarado back in the month of August...
Beautiful.
That's like a trade deadline acquisition. Sure, he can't pitch in the postseason, but I mean, you're still getting somebody back in this bullpen that you know is a flamethrower, and that's going to be coupled with the 1 or 2 guys that you go and acquire at the deadline to replace Alvarado for the postseason.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, I know you haven't been able to talk about it much on the show. What were your thoughts on the suspension?
It felt a lot like Fernando Tatis getting suspended for getting ringworm treatment, and there being something he shouldn't have had been taking in there. Because what? It was for weight loss?
Yeah, which on the record, Jose Alvarado has been very open about how he's dealt with weight loss issues.
Yeah. This isn't something like new.
So people like questioning that he was taking a weight loss thing. I think the key thing for him getting suspended was that in the release, they said it was a weight loss supplement, not a weight loss prescription. And because it wasn't a prescription, I think that's might have why he got popped. Because apparently Dave Dombrowski said he tested positive a while ago, and it was from something he took in the off season.
Yeah, no.
And then he had 2 negative tests, which to me still has me scratching my head.
You know, if it's something that's not like, it was Ozempic, wasn't it? It was something like that.
I would say it's probably like an Ozempic or a Farxiga or Wegovy or one of those.
Yeah, I don't think.
Which one of the side effects is high testosterone levels.
Yeah, I don't think he should have been punished for that, but I'm not in charge of the MLB, clearly, because I'd make some changes right away. But, you know, it is what it is. He'll come back with a fire behind him. And, you know, if we win the World Series, or, knock on wood, when we win the World Series, knock on wood, he'll get a ring. So
I have a take, too, that it's not even a take, just a thought. And I've been trying to find the right way to formulate this.
Yeah.
So we obviously were kids during like the steroid era of baseball. But post-steroid era, when it was well known those guys were using HGH and steroids to get an advantage, a lot of these performance-enhancing drug suspensions, PED suspensions, have come with non-prescribed prescriptions of drugs that we've seen. Like, I remember Carlos Ruiz in 2012 got suspended for using Adderall that he didn't have a prescription for. But also, I could be wrong. So if there's other people that I may be missing, leave a comment in the comment section. To me, Harrison, these suspensions in baseball, I'd say over the last decade now, maybe, anytime we've seen a player get suspended for the PED tag of suspension, it feels like an overwhelming amount of the guys that have been suspended are Latino descent.
Yeah, it really does feel
It's
like
a lot of the Latino players, like obviously like Robinson Cano was a big one. Jerks and Profar got suspended earlier this year for the Atlanta Braves. And he's, Netherlands and Curacao. Now Alvarado, like we've seen Tatis Jr. Like, I don't know all of the guidelines that go into, consulting with the team doctor and getting things approved and stuff like that. But to me, when you have an overarching amount of suspensions that are coming from one, faction of people, and it being the Latino community, something to me is just going off in my head as an alarm that, like, are these teams just not giving the proper amount of information to these guys? Are they not translating things properly for these guys to know what is and what is not a banned substance? Like, it's an alarm going off in my head that it is an overwhelming amount of Latino players that continually get suspended for things in supplements or things that they're taking that they didn't know were in those things. And I don't know. It's just a weird thing to me, and I'm just wondering, like, if they're giving the Latino player contingent in baseball enough information or a proper translation or just a combination of the two in order for those guys to fully understand what is and what is not acceptable to put into their bodies that is on the banned substance list.
Yeah, I don't think they are. And that is very much an issue. So the MLB really needs to work on that, because if they don't, well, that's not good. They're screwing with their own players.
Like, I'm pulling up a list here of the most recent suspensions. How far do you want me to go back here?
As far back as you'd like, man.
Let's say, let's go to the beginning of this podcast. So let's start in the 2018 season. Suspensions for performance-enhancing drugs on that guideline. Jorge Bonifacio, who is a Dominican-born player. Jorge Polanco, who is a Dominican-born player. Robinson Cano, Dominican-born player. Wellington Castillo, Dominican-born player. Stephen Wright, American-born.
So he's the first American-born player we've seen on this list.
Yes, and he was suspended for GHRP2, which is a growth hormone releasing peptide. Francis Martes, Dominican-born player. Frankie Montas, Dominican-born player. Tim Beckham, American-born player, who was suspended for stanzazole, which is an anabolic steroid. Michael Pineda, Dominican-born player. Francis Martes, Dominican-born player. Robinson Cano, Dominican-born player. Paul Campbell,
I'm seeing a theme.
American-born, who tested positive for anabolic steroids. Gregory Santos, Dominican-born player. Hector Santiago, an American professional player, who I believe has, let me see here, who also has Puerto Rican descent. He played for Team Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic in his career. Ramon Laureano, Dominican-born player. Pedro Severino, Dominican-born player. J.C. Mejia, Dominican-born player. Fernando Tatis Jr., Dominican-born player. J.C. Mejia, once again, Dominican-born player. Noelvi Marte, Dominican-born player. Orelvis Martinez, Dominican-born player. Jurickson Profar, Curaçaoan-born player. And Jose Alvarado, Venezuelan-born player.
No, I'm sensing a theme there.
So since the start of this podcast in 2018, being the start of that baseball season, there were two American-born, technically three American-born players. Hector Santiago also has Puerto Rican descent. And then an overwhelming amount of Dominican and Latino descent players.
Yeah, I'm sensing a theme here that I'm not really a big fan of.
Like, I'm not crazy for bringing that to the I feel like nobody's really brought that up before, and I've wanted to find the proper way to project that thought, because I'm like I would have never guessed, Stephen Wright and Tim Beckham with suspensions.
Yeah.
But I remember the Canos. I remember the Ramon Laureano. I remember a bunch of these guys getting suspended. So actually there was 3 plus Hector Santiago with Puerto Rican descent. So it was Paul Campbell, Tim Beckham, and Stephen Wright are the American-born players. And then the rest of them are all Dominican, Venezuelan, a Puerto Rican descent player, and Jurickson Profar, obviously, with Curaçao.
Yep.
A lot of things not adding up in terms of just like what I would just deem as like lack of transparency.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. It's a lack of transparency, and they need to be better about that.
It's just very strange to me that like that is the overwhelming like level of suspensions in Major League Baseball for the PED tag.
Yep. I think there should be a steroid league too. I think that'd be very much fun.
That would be electric. Before we keep it pushing, I do want to talk to everybody about our friends at 47. Harrison, I've been conjuring up a new segment to integrate 47 into our podcast, and I think I'm going to deem our 47 ad read the weekly tip of the cap, brought to you by 47.
I like that.
So I'll go first, but I'll have you think of who you want to tip your cap to this week. In honor of 47 brand. But guys, if you know us, we love 47 here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm currently wearing my Super Bowl champions Eagles 47 hitch style hat. The hitch style is my go-to. It is the most comfortable hat on the planet. They are dropping new capsules what feels like every single week. They have new hats releasing. They've got a whole bunch of new stuff for all the new MLB City Connect launches. They've got the Ranchero style, which is very, very cool. A whole bunch of new minor league baseball hats in stock as well, plus their Intercoastal collection, the Patriotic collection, the Safe Bet collection, and a whole bunch of new diamond cut collections, which if you know me, I love my diamond cut hitch style hats. Use our link in the description and get free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family. It's so easy. Plus, you get points for every single purchase that you make. And I have enough points on my account right now that I could go and buy a free hat if I wanted to. So join the 47 family. Use our link in the description and get free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family. And we thank 47 for being a proud partner of the podcast. I'm going to tip my cap to the Fightin' Phils because they are just on fire right now. They're proving everyone wrong. They're doing what they're supposed to do. And I'm just a huge fan of the way they're playing. I'm also going to tip my cap to Tyrese Halliburton because I don't know if you saw on the Pat McAfee show this week, the Pacers fan who had the bag of trash thrown at them in the streets of New York. Tyrese Halliburton is flying that fan and a guest out to Indiana for Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals, putting them up in a hotel, getting them tickets. He's gonna meet the team. Tip of the cap to Tyrese Halliburton and to the Philadelphia Phillies. Harrison, who are you tipping your cap to?
My tip of the cap goes to two men who went out today and fought for their team and for the rights of their team. Mr. Jeffrey Lurie and Mr. Jason Kelsey. We'll get into that later, but I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you know exactly why I'm tipping my cap to them.
There it is, our tip of the cap of the week, brought to you by 47. Let's get into a little bit of underground stats and info, shall we? It's been a while since we've gone through the run differentials and the Platinum Plunk Award standings. Before you know it, the month of May is going to be over already. It's crazy to think about. Now, while we do these stats, let it be known, a lot of games are still going on, including our Philadelphia Phillies. So I am just going off of, at breaking the fourth wall, 9:55 p.m. on Wednesday night, what MLB.com is showing me. And in terms of Platinum Plunk standings, what Baseball Reference is showing me. So if you're new to the program, we look at the run differentials across the league, but we like to play a game with the NL East because that's the division our Phillies play in. I give Harrison the standings. I can choose to give him their win-loss in their last 10. And then he either gets the runs scored or runs against total and tries to predict what the current team's run differential is. So, Harrison, here we go. We start with the first place 30-18 Philadelphia Phillies, who are 8-2 in their last 10. Would you like their runs scored or runs against?
Give me their runs scored.
They have scored 232 runs, which is the most in the National League East so far this season.
Plus 87.
I wish it was plus 87, but it is plus 33.
Okay, never mind. Wow.
We were at a -7 run differential game just last week.
You know, my mind's on the Mets. I know they have a high run differential.
So the Phillies are at a plus 33. We go to those New York Mets, who are 29-20. They are 4-6 in their last 10. Would you like their runs scored or runs against?
Give me their runs against.
They have only given up 161 runs, which is the fewest in the National League East.
I'm going to say they're plus 93. Plus 93.
So they are at a plus 52.
Jesus Christ, I was way off.
And for reference, the Phillies have given up 199 runs to their 232 scored.
Okay.
But the Mets have scored 213. They've given up 161 for a plus 52 run differential. We go to
Are they the only two teams with positive run differentials?
No.
No, okay.
We'll go to the 24-24 even Steven Atlanta Braves, who are 6-4 in their last 10. Would you like their runs scored or runs against?
Give me their runs scored.
They've scored 198 runs, which is the second fewest in the division.
Plus 7.
So close. They are at a plus 9.
Damn it. I took two big swings and misses, and that was just that was a foul tip right there. That one was a foul tip.
They have scored 198. They've given up 189 on the season. We go to the 22-27 Washington Nationals, who are 5-5 in their last 10.
Run scored.
They have scored 212 runs on the season.
Plus 3.
They are nowhere close to positive, and I don't know if they will be the rest of the season. They are at a minus 47.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
They've given up 259 runs on the year, scored 212 for a minus 47. Then we go to the 19 and 29 Miami Marlins, who are 4-6 in their last 10. Would you like their runs scored or runs against?
Give me their runs against, because I know this is going to be a fat negative number.
They've given up 276 runs on the year.
Minus,
which is the second most in the National League.
minus 102.
They're at a minus 79. Minus 79.
I was in the right spot, but like a little too high.
They've scored 197, which is the fewest in the division, but they've given up 276, which is the second most in the National League, for a negative 79. We go around the rest of the National League.
Also, don't look now, but the Phillies have bases loaded.
Yes, they do, with only one out. The Cubs are at a plus 83. The Cardinals are at a plus 40. The Cincinnati Reds are 25 and 26, but they have a plus 33 run differential. The Brewers are 2 games under 500, and they are back in the negatives at a minus 7. And then the Pittsburgh Pirates are at a negative 65 run differential. The Dodgers are at a plus 60. The Padres are at a plus 35. The Giants are at a plus 42. The Diamondbacks are at a plus 6. And I don't know if this is including tonight because the game is not over, but currently, according to MLB.com, the 8-40 Colorado Rockies, Harrison.
Yep.
Can you predict what their run differential is? I will give you one of the two, runs scored or runs against.
Give me their runs scored.
They've scored 159 runs.
Minus 117.
They're at a minus 153.
That is so much worse. Okay, so I'm guessing that if they're at a minus 153 right now, they're going to be the real time would probably be minus 157.
157, yes.
Okay, so it's either 153 or 157 with the potential to be even worse here.
And doing a little math, with the 312 runs against, 312 runs against in 48 games. Doing a little math, that's about 6.5 runs per game. They are on pace to surrender 1,053 runs on the season, not including tonight's ball game.
When was the last time a major league team let up 1,000 runs in a season?
I believe it was 1998 or 1999, and it was the Colorado Rockies, which was like one of their first 10 years of existence.
And it makes sense that it's Colorado, too, because this is the most hitter-friendly ballpark in the nation.
Yeah, so since 1962, so it was the 1999 Rockies. They gave up 1,028.
They're on pace to be worse than that team.
The worst in our lifetime. There's only been 2 in our lifetime that have given up the 1,000 mark. This one is in my lifetime, not yours. 1996, the Detroit Tigers gave up 1,103 runs.
Damn it. That's going to score a run, though.
1,103 runs for the Tigers in 1996.
Bohm looked like he was about to go, but he just kind of took his foot off the gas. Rojas just hit a little too short.
Yeah. So the Rockies in 98 or 99, I'm sorry, their runs against average was 6.47. So the Rockies team is ahead of that. The Tigers, who gave up 1,103, their runs against average was 6.93.
Good Lord.
So that's the litmus test to kind of see the overall major league record, which I believe is that Detroit Tigers team.
Also, the amount of Phillies fans at the stadium right now
it's awesome.
Is amazing.
It's awesome.
Ooh, that was nasty.
But then in the American League run differentials, the Yankees are at a plus 93, the Red Sox are at a plus 12, the Blue Jays are at a minus 25, the Rays are at a minus 5, and the Baltimore Orioles are at a negative 85. And then in the AL Central, the Tigers are at a plus 85, the Twins are at a plus 32, the Royals are at a plus 4, the Guardians are at a minus 17, although they're 4 games over 500, and the Chicago White Sox are at a minus 57. And then the derpiest division in all of baseball, the AL West. The Mariners are 8 games over 500. They have a plus 27 run differential. The Astros are 25 and 24. They have a plus 16 run differential. The Rangers are 25 and 24. They have a negative 2 run differential. The Angels have a negative 56 run differential. And the Oakland A's have a negative 64 run differential. So there is your run differentials for the NL East and Major League Baseball. And then we move to the Platinum Plunk Award standings, which if you're new to the program, this is our way of keeping track of one of the most obscure stats in all of baseball that doesn't get talked about enough. It's being gritty, and that is getting hit by a pitch. So we keep track of the National League and American League leaders by individual, the overall Major League Baseball team, and then because we're obviously Phillies fans, we keep track of the leader in the clubhouse for the fight in Phils. Harrison, it's a dog race overall for the individual player. We have a 4-way tie in the National League and a 5-way tie overall for the lead in all of baseball because the American League leader has the same number of hit by pitches as the 4 in the National League.
Damn.
The number is 7.
Damn.
The leaders in the clubhouse. The winner of the April Platinum Plunk Award for the month of March and April in the National League, Blake Dunn, Caleb Durbin from the Milwaukee Brewers, Francisco Lindor from the New York Mets, and Eugenio Suarez from the Arizona Diamondbacks are your National League leaders. And then in the American League, all by himself in the AL, but also with 7 hit by pitches, last year's American League leader, Randy Arozarena.
Yep, that checks out. And the Phillies just
Trey just struck out with the bases loaded. A tale as old as time.
Woo! Yay!
Sigh. But yeah, Randy Arozarena. If you know Jeff Passan doing the Macarena remix to Randy Arozarena's name, leave a comment in the YouTube comment section. The team leader, so the overall baseball teams, here is their leaders. There is one team atop all of baseball with 28 hit by pitches so far this season, and that is the New York Mets.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be either the Yanks or the Mets.
The Mets are at 28. The Twins not far off at 27. The Yankees and Mariners are tied at 25. The Nationals have 24. The Diamondbacks, Orioles, and Cardinals are at 22. The Red Sox are at 21. The Tigers, Angels, and Brewers are at 20. The Astros, Pirates are at 19. The Reds and the Guardians are at 18, which is league average. The Dodgers are at 17. The Rockies, the Rangers, and the Blue Jays are at 16. The Royals are at 15. The Braves, Cubs, and Phillies are at 14. The Marlins are at 13. The Giants are at 13. The Padres are at 12. The White Sox and Rays are at 11. And the A's have finally joined the double-digit party. They have 10. And then your leader in the clubhouse for the Philadelphia Phillies, still at 4, is Kyle Schwarber, followed by Alec Boehm with 3, Trey Turner, Max Kepler, and Nick Castellanos with 2. And Bryson Stott has been hit by 1 pitch this season to make up the 14 hit by pitches for your Philadelphia Phillies. It still blows my mind that JT and Bryce have not been hit by pitches this year.
I know. I have a feeling it's coming, but I hope it doesn't.
It's wild.
Yep.
Those are the Platinum Plunk Award standings, brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, Delaware, and Maryland areas. You can also find Kenwood Beer at your local liquor stores in those markets. Again, that's kenwoodbeer.com. Must be 21 or older to do so. And as always, guys, please drink responsibly. Harrison, we got to talk about an absolute legend who I should also tip my cap to, and that is Gene Segura, who tonight before the Phillies got underway officially announced his retirement from Major League Baseball. I have been the biggest Gene Segura fan for as long as I can remember. I have been following Gene Segura's career since 2012 when he played for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim because I'm such a baseball sicko.
Yeah.
I was the biggest fan of Gene Segura, and the degrees of separation that Gene Segura is, or I should say, like the web of players he's connected to throughout his career is just wildly insane. Obviously, played with Mike Trout. He was traded for Zach Greinke. Like he is such a legend of the game in the most obscure way possible. And I'll never forget, I was the one that broke the news that Gene Segura waived his no trade clause to come to Philadelphia in exchange for Carlos Santana and JP Crawford. I broke that news. Let it be known. It is so very true. Also, did you know that on November 23rd, 2016, the Diamondbacks traded Gene Segura, Zach Curtis, and Mitch Haniger to the Seattle Mariners for Ketel Marte and current Philly on the mound, Taijuan Walker?
Yeah, that's wild. But, a massive thank you to Gene Segura. His impact on the Phillies was massive, especially in that World Series run. Just a fun dude, a fun ball player. And, yeah.
The moments that we had with Gene, I get chills every time I see the play against the Cardinals in the wild card, where that ball just dribbles through the gap between first and second into right field, and the rally that sent the Phillies to the World Series began in that ninth inning against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh my God.
And it's just like he was such a team guy.
Yes.
And like the mic'd up moment where someone's like, "Hey, Segura, what's your favorite ice cream?" And before he knocks a base hit, he goes, "Vanilla."
Yeah.
Like, it's stuff like that. And like the way that he was such a mentor to Bryson Stott early on in Stott's career. Like, Stott put up an Instagram post and it was just like you could tell how close those two were. Like, he was just you want to talk about vibes guy? Gene Segura was an ultimate vibes guy. And he was one of those players too that like signified like the changing of the guard of the way the Phillies were thinking in terms of like organizational just philosophy, because that was a huge trade to swing, like to trade Carlos Santana after a year, to trade JP Crawford, who was regarded as a high-level prospect for so long, and so many people were just waiting for him to get his opportunity. To trade that for Gene Segura was like a big deal. And I know you got other players who necessarily didn't really do too much with the Phillies, but Gene Segura was the cornerstone of that. And it is wild that like that is a trade that worked out for the three major leaguers that were involved in that deal with Segura. Carlos Santana is still playing back with his Cleveland Guardians, and JP Crawford is a Gold Glove shortstop for the Seattle Mariners. Like, that trade worked out for every team, for both sides, and it's rare you see that in baseball.
Yeah, and when that happens, it's like a miracle, but it doesn't really happen that often. And the fact that it did, and the Phillies have made that kind of trade multiple times, so this team is amazing.
And I mean, Gene was an all-star for the Phillies in 2018. Or no, that was with the Mariners. I'm sorry, because Gene was traded here in December of 2018. So like, you got an all-star second baseman to come in, and I mean, I will be front and center, front row for Gene Segura's Wall of Fame night.
Oh, absolutely.
At Citizens Bank Park, because he is the ultimate definition of what a Phillies Wall of Famer is. Like, that moment, like I mentioned, against the Cardinals in the playoffs, like that is an all-time Phillies moment that is the baseball equivalent in the modern era of like our favorite teams of Jalen Mills guarding Julio Jones against the Falcons in the playoffs to lead the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Same type of play. Like, I was at my cousin's wedding when that game was going on, and it was like a beach wedding, and I'm like, I got my phone out in my pocket. I'm like watching the score on the ESPN and MLB apps, see which one's faster at updating. And right when I had to put my phone away, when the ceremony started, the Phillies gave up a home run and we're losing 1-0. And then we go to the reception, and I'm standing in one spot, and the Phillies start to rally. And I'm like, I have to stand here the rest of the night until this game is over. And then the Phillies win. And it was just like one of those things, like that run of Phillies baseball, I will never forget, because it was also coupled with me being at weddings all the goddamn time. Like the Cardinals series, I was at a wedding. The Padres, I was at a wedding. I officiated my best friend's wedding. Like that was like the fall of weddings and Phillies playoff baseball for me. And Gene Segura is one of my all-time favorite baseball players. I will forever love him. I loved him before he was a Philly. I will love him as a Philly so much. Like Jimmy Siggs is an all-time like nickname for a player, and the fact that the Phillies tweeted that today and acknowledged Jimmy Siggs was incredible. Like he is just an all-time Philly, and I can't thank Gene Segura enough for his contributions to not only the Philadelphia Phillies but just Major League Baseball as a whole. He is such a pro's pro, and I love that he still roots for the Phillies. Like I follow Gene on Instagram, and he'll comment on the guys' posts and stuff. Like ultimate team guy, and he is forever entrenched in Phillies history forever.
Just I miss him being on the Phillies, because he was such a joy to watch, and I hope he enjoys his retirement.
100%. So
He deserves it.
cheers to Gene.
Cheers
Jimmy
to
Siggs,
Jimmy
Gene
Siggs.
Segura, a Phillies legend through and through.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on one hell of a career, and enjoy your retirement. You deserve it, and I couldn't be happier for you. And looking forward to seeing what he does next, because he is a delight to follow on Instagram, because Jimmy Siggs gets into some fun shit on his Instagram lives.
Hey, do the Phils need a Spanish language commentator?
I would love Gene Segura in the booth with our good friend Oscar Budajin.
Yes, sir.
I would love that.
Yes, sir.
But yes, congratulations to Gene Segura. Harrison, are you ready to talk about pushing some tush?
As they say in the old country, let's push that tush.
Our Tush Push breakdown is brought to you by our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Guys, if you want to stand out in the crowd, whether you want to rep the Phil, the Eagles, the Sixers, the Flyers, the Union, or your favorite Philadelphia sports podcast, PHI Apparel Company is the place to do it with their unique designs for all. There's no doubt in our minds you will stand out in the crowd. Go to phiapparel.co, and when you go to checkout, get your cart filled up to the gills with official Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast merch. Use code Underground to get 10% off your next merch order. Again, that's code Underground for 10% off your next merch order from PHI Apparel Company. Stand out in the crowd with the official merch partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Harrison, what a day it was on the old interwebs.
The tush push stays alive.
The tush push lives. The Packers lose 22-10 for the second time
again
to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I am just, I can't help but laugh. It's so goddamn funny. And
I love it.
I will stand in solidarity with the 10 teams that stood by the Eagles in this one. We will get to that. But the fact that it went 22-10 is just so ironic. It is also comically hilarious that the NFL pushed for the Packers to propose this rule, because the main guy in the Packers front office is allegedly retiring this summer. So everyone's like, oh, he's just trying to get a cushy job at the league office. And that's where this came from. I love that everyone that was against the tush push is just whining, complaining, showcasing how much of absolute babies they are. And I've said this from the jump when the rumblings about the tush push getting banned came to the forefront. Everyone's biggest excuse is safety and that it's not a football play. Harrison, I'm going to bring two things to the table here for you before I bring my big thing to the table.
Bring them to the table.
So the big argument everyone always says is that the tush push is a rugby scrum. It's a rugby play. Air quotes for everybody just listening on audio. If there was one team in the NFL who knows what a goddamn rugby play is, I'm pretty sure it's the team whose international pathways program countries are New Zealand and Australia. Oh, and also feature an all-world former rugby player at left tackle who has been on the record saying it's nowhere close to a rugby play.
I think that may just have a little bit of a factor in how the Eagles know that it's not a rugby play. I don't know. I'm not one of the professionals. I'm just a talking head. But if Jordan Mailata, a guy who's played rugby his entire life, and made it to the NFL because of how good he was at rugby, that the Eagles were like, we're going to take a chance on this guy. And then also a guy who's probably going to play for Team Australia in the Olympics. Also, real quick, I need Jordan Mailata as a running back for Team Australia in the Olympics because that would be elite.
It would be electric.
I think I trust his view on the matter. Maybe just a little bit.
Smidge, just a little bit.
A little bit.
My other thing is that it's a health and safety issue. I'm 110% certain there are no records of any singular player being injured for conducting or being a part of the tush push, the brotherly shove.
Also, you want to talk about health and safety? Maybe you should have referees take a look at the hip drop tackles that are still taking place in the NFL.
And to couple along with health and safety, not a football play, not a football type thing. Harrison, can I bring to the table one of the top 5 most dangerous things in football? That the Green Bay Packers are so famous for. Because I'm pretty sure it's pretty dangerous to do what I'm about to bring up. And it's not a football play. The Lambeau leap is pretty goddamn dangerous. It's not a football play.
Yeah. So it's literally not a football play because it's not on the field. It's not on the goddamn field. And how many players have gotten injured, or how many fans have gotten injured from a giant man leaping at them with all of his might?
The health and safety issue of potentially getting poked in the eye by a fan.
Yeah. The health and safety issue of potentially being smacked on the head by a fan and getting maybe not a concussion, but like you head smacked around a bit, you could pinch a nerve in your neck.
You concussing a fan with your helmet?
Yeah. And that's
a pretty big health and safety issue.
That puts some liability on the Packers, because what if that fan's not a citizen of Green Bay? What if that's a rival fan, and all of a sudden this giant 6'3" running back with 50 pounds of muscle on him comes flying in, concusses him? Oh, look, now you're open for a lawsuit.
Oh, and aren't the Packers like you can just buy ownership in them? So that's a liability on just like common citizens because you don't have an ownership group.
Yeah. Maybe if you stopped worrying about the other teams in the NFL and started worrying about your own goddamn issues, you wouldn't be bounced in the first round of the playoffs like you are basically every single goddamn year.
Yeah, maybe if you hit the weight room, you wouldn't be in this much of an issue.
Maybe if you paid A.J. Dillon to stick around and not come to a team where he could do the damn thing and push someone forward.
That's what needs to happen, okay? I've been thinking about this because obviously the Eagles have a bye week, week 9. They come out of the bye week and play on Monday Night Football in Green Bay against the Packers.
Yep.
The first 15 scripted plays of that game just should be the tush push and showcase how goddamn petty Nick Sirianni can be.
Oh,
but when they get down the field, A.J. Dillon should be the one that pushes Jalen Hurts into the end zone.
Or the little tweak to that. How about Jalen just comes off the field altogether and we just push A.J. Dillon into the end zone?
Oh, my God. It's so funny, man. The stupidity. If you want a good laugh, everyone, go scroll the Packers social media over the past couple of posts and just read the comments, read the replies. It is hilarious. Fly ball deep to left field, way back there and way out of here. 2-run dinghy for JT Realmuto.
And the Phillies are up by a touchdown, no extra point.
We love to see. They just tush push their way into the end zone. But the tush push stays alive, and the Eagles drop the most incredible post of all time that a Packers pundit said the Eagles didn't convert on this, and yet I went and found the play, and multiple people found the play. The Eagles got like 4 yards on that tush push in the picture that was posted, but it says it's just the perfect post to be absolutely petty, and it's just push on, and it's the Eagles against the Packers, and it looks like a goddamn Nike ad, and it's fantastic. Plus, they went on an absolute meme thread, and I brought it up to you. It's the Tombstone meme, but it says "Tush Bush ban vote," and they just commented on it and said, "Pretend that says push." LOL.
I love that. I love that. I love the world's smallest violin.
I saved that video so goddamn fast. They also tweeted throwback to our most recent tush push, which was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Followed by
also okay, I'm gonna fight the tush push. Damn, the tush push got hands.
Mark safe from the tush push ban today, smiling through it all. Can't believe this is my life. A whole video compilation of talking heads bringing up things about the tush push one way or another. And then the Eagles also, with the ultimate petty move, a 26-minute video on their official YouTube channel of just tush push highlights.
You know the one tweak I would have made to that video? Make it 22 minutes and 10 seconds.
Also, in the ultimate petty move, a push-on T-shirt is on the Philadelphia Eagles website.
Which I'm going to need expeditiously.
Expeditiously. It is just perfect. I will be ordering that probably tonight.
Yes.
I just love that it's staying around. And
it's the most football play out there.
It's the safest football play. And guess what? Guess what, everyone? We have the best owner in the NFL.
Oh, easily.
Because an article from Diana Rossini, who I like Diana. I like her a lot. Not great optics to report that she's hearing that the tush push is going to get banned. It doesn't get banned, and then she deletes that tweet.
And you know that's a tweet you can keep up because you never rumors come out in the NFL all the time.
Yep.
It did really like everybody was reporting that the tush push was going to be banned, and it was damn close. So there's no shame in keeping that tweet up.
Yeah, I don't know why she didn't keep it up. But there is a pull quote from that article that she put out, and here it is. One high-ranking league source who was in the room said, quote, Lori was like a guy trying to convince his girlfriend why she shouldn't leave him. Throughout his pitch, Lori was emotional, passionate, and at one point, crude. He said the fact that his team came up with a play so unstoppable that the rest of the league had no other choice but to try to ban it was, quote, like a wet dream for a teenage boy. Toward the end of his address, he told the assembled owners that, regardless of the day's result, he and his franchise would walk out winners with Super Bowl rings to show for it.
Incredible.
That's my owner. That's my owner, Jeffrey Lurie, baby.
He's him. He's really just him.
Absolutely incredible. And the fact that he showed up to the meeting with Jason Kelce, who was getting slandered by the Pagulas, trying to say that the tush push forced Jason Kelce to retire. Jason Kelce went on New Heights that conveniently dropped today, saying that if he just could run the tush push for 80 plays, he wouldn't have retired.
Yeah. And I get why. It makes total sense.
It's just amazing that all of this just makes so many NFL franchises look like absolute slapsticks. And here are the teams that, to varying degrees, I will stand in solidarity with. Harrison, I would like to ask you to salute with me to the following teams. Underground Sports Philadelphia officially salutes the Baltimore Ravens,
Yes, sir.
the Cleveland Browns,
To an extent, yes, but in this extent, absolutely.
the Detroit Lions,
Absolutely.
the Jacksonville Jaguars,
Yes, sir.
the Miami Dolphins,
Yes, sir.
the New England Patriots,
On this, absolutely. Thank you, Patriots. And thank you, Mike Vrabel.
the New Orleans Saints,
Yes, sir.
the New York Jets,
Yes, sir.
and the Tennessee Titans. We here at Underground Sports Philadelphia salute you. And as always, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes. I got to say, there were a lot of teams that I was shocked to see not on there. The Cardinals and the Colts especially can...
It's fuck Jonathan Gannon forever.
Yeah, and not fuck Shane Steichen, though, because we do know for a fact that Shane Steichen was behind the Tush Push ban not going through. There was a report that he was talking with Sirianni, and Steichen said, yeah, no, I don't want to see this banned.
Yeah.
So we're not saying fuck Shane Steichen, because Shane Steichen's a real one.
And I'm also curious, and this is no slight here, because as we record this this evening, Jim Irsay passed away at the age of 65. I'm just curious who voted there, if Mr. Irsay was obviously not doing that well. I'm wondering who
wasn't in Minnesota. I read that earlier.
Right.
Today. Wasn't there. So
I'm curious who voted in his place as an owner. I don't know who it was.
I'm interested to know.
But salute to those 10 teams that include the Eagles in the 10 who made sure that the Tush Push stays around. Also, the Buffalo Bills, absolute coward organization. Now, I am a huge Josh Allen fan. I like Josh Allen a lot. But Harrison, I want to bring this up to you because it is insane in terms of optics of how this comes across.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me find it here because here it is. So this comes from @BirdGang4L on Twitter.
Great name.
Josh Allen loses in overtime 2021 playoffs. NFL makes an overtime rule prior to the 2022 season. Jalen Hurts makes the Super Bowl in 2022 in an RPO-heavy scheme. The NFL then implements a rule change to the RPO.
Yep.
Josh Allen loses in the 2024 playoffs. The NFL implements the Skycam Hawkeye tech.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl in 2024. The NFL tries to ban the Tush Push.
Yep. What kind of agenda do you guys got going?
Some ain't adding up here.
The math ain't mathing.
But the Bills are cowards because I believe it was Tom Pelissero. No, it was James Palmer brought this up. And I want this is the open invite to James Palmer to come on this program. I'm a huge fan of his. He's a Philly guy too. Open invite to James Palmer to come on this podcast whenever. James Palmer tweeted this earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the actual tweet? Because it is so true. Here it is. Just a thought. If the Rams had beat the Eagles in the divisional round of the playoffs, Philly doesn't win the Super Bowl, let alone go to the NFC Championship game, where we would have never witnessed what went on at the goal line with Frankie Louvu's coward ass. Granted, James Palmer did not call Frankie Louvu a coward. That is my own flavor zesty seasoning.
He's taking some personal liberties with the quotes.
With the tweet here, yeah. So then, if that happens, our real last memory of a tush push like play would have been Josh Allen being ruled short in the AFC Championship game.
Yep.
If all of that were the case, do you think we'd be having this vote today?
Absolutely not. No. And do you know why? Do you know why? It is because the NFL hates the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep.
They're mad about Philadelphia. There ain't nothing more to say. They're mad about Philadelphia.
It's so funny.
It's so blatant that it's like It's so funny, but it's so blatant that it's not really that funny.
Yes. And I'm just hoping the Eagles are so petty with this play, especially against the
Oh, yeah.
Packers. And it is funny that in terms of, I want to find who tweeted this too. There was something like teams that the Eagles play. Here it is. Dennis Selman on Twitter. The Eagles' 2025 opponents voted 13-1 to ban the push. The other 17 teams voted 9-8. Weird that the Eagles seem to only be playing the teams concerned with safety and pace of play this year.
Interesting. Very interesting. And it's also very interesting that we don't have any back-to-back home games.
And the one team that did not vote to ban it was the Detroit Lions.
You know why? Because the Detroit Lions are filled with nothing but real ones who are genuinely good people, and they care more about the game of football than some petty ass bullshit.
Yes, 100%.
Shout out the Lions. If I had to pick a second NFC team, it would definitely be the Lions. Just because.
I'm just so happy that people are going, like, they thought Eagles fans were insufferable already.
Oh, we're gonna be so much worse.
You just reignited our pettiness to a degree that knows no bounds.
They didn't just reignite it. They first took some lighter fluid and dumped like 50 gallons of it onto like the most flammable whatever. Then they took some jet fuel. And then they took like a car's worth of gasoline. And then they took a massive torch and just chucked it into it.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it. I love that it's here to stay. I also love that this is where I'll say the Lions were a little silly. The rule that they were trying to get implemented about like nullifying winning your division being important did not even come to a vote. So thank goodness that didn't pass, because guess what? The NFL is a league where winning your division should matter.
Yeah, it's not the NBA. The division rivalries matter a lot.
Mm-hmm. It's just so funny to me that not only did the tush push stay alive, every team the Eagles played in the playoffs last year, including the Chiefs, voted to ban it. And Harrison, for the first time in forever or ever, the Eagles are a team who will play all of their postseason opponents from the season prior during the following season's regular season.
Yeah, we will. And it's going to be belt to ass for every single one of them bozos.
It's just perfectly incredible.
Belt to ass.
I need all the pettiness from this Eagles team.
Yes.
Every single chance. And I just need the first 15. I also love, this is what I love so much about this.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles have a bye the week before they play the Packers.
Oh, they're gonna be rested. They're gonna be fired up. They're gonna be looking to punch some people in the mouth.
A fully rested Eagles team with an extra week to just plan and cook up pettiness, to then go to Lambeau Field on Monday Night Football for the world to see. I'm not even exaggerating here. Week 10 of the 2025 NFL season's Monday Night Football game might go down as one of the most viewed NFL games in the history of the world.
You want to know my prediction for our first drive of that game? It's going to be it's going to take the entire first quarter. We're going to gain 3 to 4 yards at a time, and we're just going to push the football up the field. Push.
It's going to be like when SpongeBob and Patrick are moving the city.
Why don't we take the football and just put it somewhere else?
Push.
And
then the bullworm falls. And it's like,
That's gonna be Jordan Love. Him sitting on the sideline.
My dad sent me a thing on Instagram that had me cracking up. I have it right here. It's the Number of reported injuries due to the tush push, 0. The people in the Packers organization with a spine, 0.
Big ol' 0. Bunch of coward ass.
And this is how you know it was so stupid, because we have a resident Packers fan at this company, and that is DJ.
Yep.
He felt embarrassed by the Green Bay Packers trying to ban the tush push.
Wow.
Which DJ knows ball.
Yeah, DJ knows ball, but like
I would never say he doesn't know ball.
No.
And he
it's
was
so
like,
rare for a fan to be embarrassed by their team like that.
He was like, I am embarrassed by our behavior.
The only other times I can think about a fans really being embarrassed by their teams is when, the Lions were 0-16. And then what's it called? The Browns signed their injured quarterback, who I don't really like saying the name of, but you know who I'm talking about. And when the Browns went 0-6, the Browns have been very embarrassing for their fan base, haven't they?
Here, I'm gonna see if I can call DJ and get him on record saying that he was embarrassed.
Oh yeah. Let's see if he gets online here.
What up?
Hey, you're live on the main pod right now. We were just talking about how you were in solidarity with Eagles everywhere and saying that you were embarrassed by the Green Bay Packers organization for their just silly antics in terms of trying to get the tush push ban. Can we get confirmation that you did feel embarrassed by the doings of your front office?
More than embarrassed. It actually makes me want to throw away my fandom. It is that. There's no reason to ever try and take something away from a team because it's dominant. You just get better. That's just sports. That's the whole reason of sports. As the team gets really good at something, you do everything you can to stop it. If not, sucks to be you. They just cracked the code. Like, look at basketball. It was redundant when they made the no dunking rule for Wilt Chamberlain. You don't make him stop dunking. You find a way to make it so he can't dunk. Look at Steph Curry. If they were like, okay, Steph shoots threes way too far. If you shoot a three from more than 3 feet behind the line, it doesn't count. That's dumb. You just find a way to get the ball out of Steph's hands so he can't make threes from that far away. Like, what are we talking about here? It is literally the dumbest thing in all of sports that we decided to try and ban the tush push because of asinine reasons. As you brought up earlier, the Lambeau leap is 1,000% more dangerous than the tush push. It is stupid.
Harrison is currently saluting you on pod.
Good, because it's ridiculous.
Also,
ridiculous.
Did you see the report that the NFL urged your front office to bring the proposal to the table because Mark Murphy is apparently retiring this summer or something, and people are just speculating that him bringing it to the proposal table is so that he can get a cushy job at the league office?
Really? That's the whole push for this?
Yeah, apparently
that's even more disgusting.
Apparently the league lobbied for the Packers to bring it to the table.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I'll send you that. That was from Florio put that article out this afternoon. I'll send you that article for sure. And then I'll send you the pull quote from Rossini's article about what Jeffrey Lurie said in the room to the owners, because it was absolute, dropped the mic and dropped his dick and balls on the table.
I mean, somebody needed to.
Facts.
That is nasty work.
But I wanted the people to know that our resident Packers fan stood in solidarity with the normal folks in NFL circles, and knowing that it was an embarrassing ploy.
Absolutely. I would absolutely never stand for something like that. The tush push should live on forever.
There it is. All right, bro. I will see you on OTB tomorrow. Subscribe to OTB.
Please subscribe to the pod. And make sure you subscribe to the OTB channel of the pod. We're trying to get that college show up and running for y'all with me and Hoots.
Big facts. All right, bro. I'll talk to you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, DJ.
There it is. See? Resident Packers fan standing in solidarity with the common folk, the real ones, if you will. But I'm it got me juiced up. Like, it's the weird part of the NFL offseason. Granted, we are not like most NFL cities where we also have a very goddamn good baseball team. So like we have baseball to like enjoy and look forward to every year. But it got me juiced up for football season.
It did. Yeah, I've missed the football season so bad. You know, the draft was a nice little refresher and a comeback into how football is. But you know, when we were younger, the football season went from the beginning of the season to the Super Bowl, and that was it. It's no longer like that. Football's a year-long thing now, and it's just OTAs and the draft and the combine and the off-season meetings that are going on right now. And God, I love being so invested in this league because something crazy happens every single goddamn day.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
But yeah, the Tush Push lives on. I want everyone to leave us a voicemail. Speakpipe.com/underground sports Philadelphia is where you go to leave us a voicemail. It's linked in the description of both audio and video of the podcast. It's also in our link tree. Speakpipe.com/underground sports Philadelphia. I want you to sound off on the Tush Push sticking around. I want you to laugh at all of the pundits, all of the reporters, all of the teams that were trying to get it banned, that were slandering the Tush Push. I want you to sound off. Speakpipe.com/underground sports Philadelphia. We will curate a week's worth of voicemails on this. And then next week's episode with Harrison and myself, we will react to every single voicemail that is left to us so we can laugh in solidarity with you all. Speakpipe.com/underground sports Philadelphia. Sound off on the Tush Push living. It's like that meme, Harrison. I lived, bitch.
I lived, bitch. I love that one so much. This is what my stepdad sent me after we all thought he died in surgery. I lived, bitch.
I lived, bitch. That is the Tush Push. So leave us a voicemail. We will react to them on next Thursday's episode of the pod and just laugh in solidarity with everyone as you sound off on the Tush Push, which I've also been hearing rumblings, Harrison, that one Delco Danny may have a video coming out about the Tush Push living on and his thoughts on the absolute slapsticks and big dumb dipshits around the NFL that were trying to get it banned. I've heard rumblings. Delco Danny is ready to sound off on those people.
Well, I cannot wait to hear from Delco Danny. I'm sure he's got something just so insightful to say.
He might even have to call into the voicemail line too. That's his origination. He called into a non-existent voicemail line that we somehow had a phone number connected to, and he called us from Broad Street when the Birds went to the Super Bowl in 2022.
Was that phone number 867-5309? Hey, for you youngins out there, it's a reference to something. Just please grow up.
Just call the number.
Call that number.
And leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/underground sports Philadelphia. Harrison, we will wrap up here with one final segment, and it is brought to you by our friends over at Bino. Guys, we love Bino here. Harrison, you've played Bino. We brought it on the road. It is so much fun. It is paper football meets foosball for the next big tabletop game experience. Get your flick fingers ready, okay? Because you're going to be the talk of your tailgates. You'll be the talk of your parties. To have it out at your man cave, your she shed, Bino is truly so much fun. Like, we're going to have Memorial Day weekend coming up this weekend. I'm going to bring the Bino boards out when the fam comes over. And Harrison, I have news for you.
Ooh.
I have news for you. Because I don't know if you got a chance to see the DM on Instagram I sent you, but I don't want you to look at it just yet. Because this Friday, this might be part of your first paycheck. This Friday, they're dropping a new Bino board. Officially licensed. Chelsea edition.
Oh, when that paycheck hits, let me take a look.
It is dropping at noon Eastern on Friday.
Oh, it looks like it's going to be just like blue and
It's going to have the Chelsea logo in the middle of the board for sure. I knew you'd be excited about that.
I'm very excited about that. That's going to be great.
But Bino also has their second annual Indy Flickway Major Tournament going on. It actually just happened this past weekend. It just happened this past weekend in Indy. They had the Bino tournament at the Mucky Duck Pub.
Oh, I've heard of that place. It seems like a great vibe. If I'm back out in Indiana, I have to hit up that bar.
They've been bringing the Bino tournaments out there big time. So use our link in the description to shop with Bino. Check out all of their boards, accessories, apparel, and more. Which Harrison, I got to send you this shirt too. They dropped a shirt for the second annual Bino Flickaway Major Tournament that has like Indy 500 plus Bino vibes to it. It is absolute heat. Plus, they just dropped the Indy Special Bino bands that go around the board that are checkerboard with yellow Bino logo that would look pretty fire on that Chelsea board, if I do say so myself. Plus,
yellow is one of our secondary colors.
They've got amazing stuff on their website. Use our link in the description, and when you go to checkout, use code BinoBennett62. That's code BinoBennett62 to get 10% off your entire order from our friends at Bino. Again, that's code BinoBennett62 when you use our link in the description to get 10% off your entire order from our friends at Bino. Harrison, the Philadelphia Union just continue to dominate. They continue to be a force in the MLS. They are top of the table in the Eastern Conference, and tonight they advance past the round of 16 in the U.S. Open Cup against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds 4-1. Bruno Damiani scores on a penalty. Vasilev scores in extra time in the first half. Jaquez scores in the 54th minute. Lukic scores in the 86th minute. A 4-1 dominant performance from our Philadelphia Union, all to lead up to this weekend, Saturday, 7:30 Eastern, at the Sub.
Lionel
Messi and the Miami boys coming to town. Who, hey, guess what? Not every season's as easy as it looks there, Inter Miami. They've been faltering a bit here. They've been stumbling a bit. They are in 6th place, but the Union sit atop at the table, tied in points with Cincinnati, but have the goal differential tiebreaker because the Union's goal differential is a +13 compared to Cincinnati being a +4. The Union have the best goal differential in the entire Eastern Conference, and they are 2nd place in all of MLS, just behind Vancouver by 1. I am genuinely so impressed by how this team is playing because our entire lifetime of knowing the Union exists, it was Jim Curtin, and I will forever love Jim Curtin. Bradley Carnell has this team playing at a level I didn't know they were capable of.
Yeah, they're playing out of their minds right now. Ty Baribo, what a guy!
MLS Golden Boot, Ty Baribo?
I think so. Also, there's 5 seconds left in this Pacers next game. The Pacers are down 2. Game winner by Hallie.
What the Hallie?
Oh my God! He hit it.
What the Hallie? What the Hallie Burton?
It was a Kawhi Leonard-ass shot. It bounced high up in the air and just fell in. We're getting overtime.
Way.
We're getting overtime. Unless his foot was off the line. Let's see if that was a 2 or a 3. That's a 2. That's a 2. Oh my God. What a shot. What a shot. Oh my goodness.
That's amazing.
I love playoff basketball.
Wait. Okay, it just switched now for me. They initially ruled it a 3, but now it moves to 2.
Yeah. Oh God. What the hell?
What the hell, Burton? That's amazing. But Bradley Carnell has the Union playing at a level I didn't know they were capable of, and that's incredible. And I gotta say, the more and more I look at it, I know I will forever love the 2022 lightning bolt kit. I think I gotta get the kit from this year, which is like as close to that one as we'll possibly get.
Yeah.
But
I'm shocked, dude.
the Union are just on fire. And I was talking to Philly Sports Network's lead beat writer, friend of the program, soon to be Jimmy King. We're going to have him on soon to talk Union. We're also going to get him on Top Ends because he does happen to be a Tottenham fan. I was trying to get him on late tonight to make Mark just like sulk, but he was unavailable tonight. But Jimmy King will be joining the pod in the very near future. He does a great job covering the Union. And if you're not following Jimmy on Twitter, you're missing out on impeccable coverage. I'm also like, this is even outside of you being a University of Indiana guy. I'm full send rooting for the Pacers the rest of the way in the playoffs. Like, they are the most fun team out of any team remaining.
I love this team. Like, you know, as I got out to Indiana, you know, I had to become more. I was already a Sixers fan, but I was mainly just a Sixers fan. I had to become a basketball fan getting out to Indiana. And I'm so glad I did. The Pacers are so much fun. Being a Hoosier is so much fun. I love my Indiana peeps so much. And if the Pacers win the title, we're celebrating on Broad Street.
Wait, did you see Halliburton hit the Reggie Miller?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I need them to win the title.
That's incredible. Also, like TJ McConnell, like how can you not?
Yeah. TJ's got to get his title.
Also, I don't get the Tyrese Halliburton slander from people.
Yeah, no, he's sick.
He's so fun to root for.
And he's going to be in WWE 2K25.
Also, how about the WWE predicting the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yeah. I know. I love it. I love it. But yeah.
But yeah, shout out to the Union, big win. They move on to is it the semis or is it the just round of 8 for the US Open Cup?
I'm not sure, man. What a shot.
I'm going to pull that up real quick here.
Ooh. Shout out Reggie Miller, man.
So the US Open Cup, here we go. So I guess it's not determined yet what it actually full blown is.
Yeah.
But the Union are moving on nonetheless because they win. Big time win there in a battle of the Keystone State against a team from Pittsburgh. So shout out to the Union. Keep doing your thing. They're so much fun to root for. And like you and I have said, Harrison, we will be getting to a Union game together this summer.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Come on, sirs. Come on, sirs.
That is all we've got for you guys on this one. Make sure you're following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. Subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow, plus all of our other shows on the network as well. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, be sure to check out the channels tab and follow along with the Underground Sports Philadelphia channel on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It is all on our YouTube channel. We're 39 subscribers away from 1,100. Let's get there sooner rather than later. youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. And guys, this show is proudly presented by the city of Vineland. That's right, the city of Vineland, my hometown. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 744 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. For Harrison, for DJ on the phone line, I'm your boy KB. I'll be back breaking everything down from over the weekend with you guys on Monday's episode, so stay tuned for that. And before you know it, PLL season's going to be here. We'll be talking some water doggies on this show. We're planning some big things, Harrison, that I haven't even been able to tell you about yet, featuring the water dogs. So definitely stay tuned for that. We have a lot in the pipeline upcoming over the next couple of weeks that you won't want to miss. But for Harrison, for DJ, I'm KB. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And we will see you on Monday. But until then, we're getting the heck up out of here and we're signing off. Peace.